Hi. This video is going to cover the isCOBOL profiler. Now, the profiler helps you find bottlenecks in your code. It shows you where the runtime is spending the most time. It's been around for a while, but we recently made it a lot easier to implement and understand. When you use it, think about your user interaction. Any user interaction with your program will throw your times off. There are some ways to avoid it, though. You can use the $profiler routine to disable or enable the profiler. You put it around portions of code in your program. And by the way, the runtime ignores those calls if you don't run with the profiler, so you can just put them in and leave them there. If you have all your I/O and processing in separate programs, or just want to profile a few programs, another option is to include or exclude the classes profiled by listing them using these two configuration variables. Now, it's also important to know that compiling for debug or using the -d, -dx compile switches negatively affects performance. So be sure to profile your classes compiled without these switches. If you forget, the profile report will warn you. Let's take a look at how easy and helpful this can be. I'm going to run a batch program first. There's no user interaction to mess up the timing. I've added a $sleep at one point so we can see a bottleneck clearly. Start by compiling. Remember, without the -d, and then we'll run it with the -profile. That took a really long time. Let's take a look at the report. It's in the folder called hprof HTML report, and I'll run the index. So here's our report. And I can see that most of the time, 63% of the time, was spent in stop timer. And that's not where it's supposed to spend the time. So let's go look at the stop timer paragraph and see what the problem is. Here's my program, and here's the stop timer paragraph, and I can see that I left a call $sleep using 1. So I'll remove that. Save it. Close this for now. Let's recompile and rerun. Much better. We'll look at the report again. Again, it's in the hprof HTML report. And that's much better. Most of the time is being spent in the delete file 1, which it should be, and the time is a lot better. Now I'll run a version of this program that uses a screen and a push button to launch the process. I created a screen section in the IDE, and I just pasted it in my program. I'm making sure to compile in the release mode and not debug mode. And I created a run configuration to run the program so that I could turn on the profiler here under Profiler Enabled. This is where I would list any classes that I wanted to include or exclude. I'm going to click on Run. And go. And there's my test. So we'll exit, and you see the profiler report pops up here. So I see that most of the time is spent in main logic, which is where the display of the screen and the accept is. I don't want those in my profiler test, so I've used $profiler in my program. Let's look at those. I'm going to disable it at the beginning of the program. Then all of the processing is done here in process indexed file. So I'm going to enable it at the beginning of the processing and disable at the end. So let's compile it. And we'll run it again. Go. Took the same amount of time. And we'll look at the new profiler report, organize it by time. And now you can see that the main logic paragraph was not profiled. The runtime took 5.5 seconds, but only 2.9 seconds of that was profiled. And there's a quick look at Variant's profiler. If you have any questions, you can contact us at support@variant.com, and I hope you give it a try. Thank you.